Hey guys, we're going to be starting in about 2 minutes here. I just have to run and grab a coffee, and I will be back with you shortly. So don't go anywhere. We're going to get started right away here. We're going to get rolling in the markets here. So just hit me up in the chat and just let me know that you can hear me real quick before I get too deep in this. Just give me a yes or a no if you can hear me, please. And we're going to get started here. Guys, can you hear me? Should be able to hear me. Hello? Give me a yes or a no in the chat window if you can hear me, please. Got it. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, we are going to get rolling right now. So let's start with the US dollar index. So we've been trading in a nice tight range here for the US dollar, which finally broke out of that range yesterday and convincingly closed higher and then posted another candle higher still yet. Now it just came up and grabbed some liquidity off of these highs here, and now we're going to see if it wants to reject or continue to run higher from here. You can see this candle just kind of whipped through the highs, old highs over here. And so far we're just sitting underneath it now. So what I'd like to see is this to continue and then to come up into this small consolidation area right up in here. What could happen though is if price does not close today above here, we could want to come back down, borrow this line here. We could want to come reject from here, come back down and retest these old highs and then continue longer. Or it was just, I don't think this was just a liquidity raid. It was a nice convincing close above, and then the next day, being today, went higher yet. So if it does want to come back down, I'd be looking for a bounce right about this level here. So that is the 90, well, I can give you an exact high here. It's yeah, 90.43 is the exact high. Now whether it, call it 90.44. Now whether it does, it literally just sits, comes down and hits that. So it might go a little bit deeper too, but I'd be looking for something like this if it wants to reject. This could be a nice big bull uptrend now, and you can see here, I mean, it's kind of been following a nice trend line, so to speak. So we could just see bullish activity right up into here for the rest of the week. Friday could post another big candle higher, and we could be trading up into this consolidation range before we know it. So we're going to watch for that as well too. Either way, with this price action finally confirmed, we got a nice bullish move on the US dollar. We can start looking for some bearish moves on the rest of the foreign currency pairs. So I'm going to start here today with the CAD because I actually issued a trade signal yesterday on the CAD, and it looks like it just finally got tagged. So here's what we're looking for. See a run above these levels. See all these equal highs up here? It went up and tagged on this, what are we here? 129.15 level. It tagged on it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just missed it here. It's about 6 times in this little area right here. So this is going to be the area that's going to be suspect. I think they're going to start wanting to run these buy stops up here. So that's going to be our target going forward. So just zoom in here a little bit. You can see here we're pushing up nicely into this area. Now price has stalled sort of right in this area right here where price had whipped into this candle up into here, and it still has yet to take these highs out. We're not far off though. It created the high so far of the day. We've only got another 53 pips to go. So I put an entry out last night. I don't want to see price, and it just got tagged here. It actually missed. So I put the entry in, the original entry in, long entry, down at 128.25. You can see here was my original entry. This candle here came down and almost got it. The low came in at 128.25.7. So some of you may have got into it. Again, this broker feed 128.25. Sorry, 128.25.7. You know, other brokerage firms may have come down a little bit deeper. You may have got it, and then price traded up nicely from there. It didn't, however, get it on my feed. It literally missed it by 0.7 of a pip, so which was disappointing. So I reissued another long signal. Price had come up here and then come back down, and I thought this candle was going to come back down and retrace deeper. It didn't. It started to fail and run higher, so I issued a trade, and I issued this now at 128.45. So I'll move that up there. Whoops. And you can see price just came down about 5 minutes ago and tagged that. And now we're starting to see nice rejection. So I'm actually going to move the stop up a little bit. The original stop here that I put in was at 128.20. I'm going to just move it up just slightly. I don't want to see price, see this small consolidation area right here? I don't want to see price come down into this consolidation area at all. So I sure don't want to see it break it. So I'm actually going to put it down here. Just a little bit under this low right here. So I'm going to raise it up just a couple of pips. But you can put a stop entry in at about 128. You could do even 128.25. Basically the low of this. Like if price starts to trade back into this consolidation area, I'd permit it to just sort of wick into it once or twice. And I want to see some rejection. I do not want to see, especially this low here, I do not want to see that low violated at all. So if you see price trading into this today, it's a no-go. It's no bueno. We don't want that. We want it to just continue to reject. You see, this is a nice candle here. Rejection and then run higher. So we're going to watch this one for the continuation of New York Open, and then our target is, again, like I said, these highs over here, 129.20. And you can see it a little bit better on here. So if you guys haven't entered this trade, you can still get into it, just so you know it's not too late. Price literally just came down and just tagged that, right? So you could still get in this. You can wait for this candle. If this candle wants to come back down and reject a little bit, you can get into it as well too. You might even get a better price than what I got. Ultimately, I was looking for 128.25, which I put in at New York Open, or sorry, before London Open, before the start of the trading day. And like I say, just skirted it, just missed it, unfortunately. But it is what it is. That is trading, and it happens all the time, unfortunately. I like to, so just so you know, some signal providing services, they'll go in and they'll do generic entries, and they'll give you very, very large, wide stops, so like 50 to 100 pip stops. You got to reduce your trading size, obviously, to do some of these trades, but they'll give you an entry of like a 30 pip wide entry. I'm not looking for those types of entries. I'm looking for precision entries. I want to see price come down and hit the specific spots that I think it should, and sometimes it doesn't give us an entry, but I'd rather not get an entry and get in and have, you know, some wild ass entry comes in at random prices, then you know, I'd rather have precision than have that happen. So just in case you're wondering how we put our entries in, that's the reason behind it. And then here's the target, 129.20. So you can throw that in. 129.20. Okay, so there you have it. Again, we are seeing a nice bullish push on the US dollar index. Switch back over to my charts here. So we're seeing a nice bullish push on the US dollar index, and that's what I'm going to continue to want to see here on the US CAD here. I want to see today post a nice big, like I want to see a candle like this. Post up into here, and we're not too far away. Like I say, we're only about 50, 60 pips away from the target right now. I'm sorry, a little bit more than that, just a little over 70 pips. So that's a nice normal range for the US CAD. That's not like it's a big range. That's going to be tough for a stretch. So we should see that today, I'm hoping. And not that we just see, you know, chop sideways or anything like that. I'd like to see price actually move nicely above and push above this level here. Here's the thing: if we see rejection, if price comes up and again trades down into this level here, I don't want to see that, so I'm going to cancel a trade, and that would be a minimal loss. I mean, we're only 20 pips down to here. So if price pushes into this consolidation area and breaks this low rate here, that's only a 15 pip, not even a 15 pip loss. So it's not too bad. However, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. Price came down, pushed down here convincingly, and then I traded off of it, and I think we're going to continue to remain higher. But again, this is going to be where I'm going to be watching price here. So I'll be with you guys for about the next half an hour, 45 minutes anyway. So we can watch price develop here further. So before I get into any more markets, I want to bring up the economic news calendar, which is what I usually start with, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone got in on this trade on the US CAD before before we missed this entry here. And I'm glad price came down and gave us an entry. Sometimes you get these runs and you know, price may want to be pushing up into this area here, and it doesn't even give you a chance. It just literally just starts posting up big green candles, and you can never get in. So I'm glad we got an entry here. But economic news calendar for the day. Where are we here? Thursday, March 1st, by the way. Happy March 1st. I don't know what part of the world you live in, but I live in one damn cold part of the the world, and it just kind of seems like we've been trapped in an endless winter since, oh god, we've had winter since I think October. So it's about time. Spring is about to get here, so we're getting close. I'm excited for the winter to go away. And you wouldn't know it today because I think we're getting snow where I live. So hopefully you live in a warmer part of the world where you don't have to combat the snow and terrible freezing weather for months on ends in the winter. Anyway, economic calendar. We are, let me just do a refresh so I know where we are on it. Little green arrow has us at 9:30 a.m. We've got some low impact Canadian dollar news that's coming out here in about 35 minutes, which shouldn't do too much to price. Some more low impact US dollar news about 45 minutes from now, 50 minutes from now. And then we've got some high impact news coming up here in about 2 hours. Sorry, an hour and 5 minutes from now. Fed Chair Powell testifies. I don't know what this is all about here. I don't know what he's testifying about. Maybe that the U.S. Fed is corrupt and that they're manipulating prices and markets everywhere and currencies. Maybe that's what he's testifying. I don't know. Hopefully this probably, I don't think this is going to inject a ton of volatility into the market. And then we've got ISM manufacturing. Now this could put a little bit of volatility into the market, so we kind of got to watch a little bit. And then we got Trump speaking at 11, which I just noticed here. I think they must have just updated this because that I don't believe was in the news feed yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I've got my chat window up here, guys, so if I am wrong, correct me. But I think they must have just inserted this, so I don't know what he's going to be yapping about here, but he usually always adds a little volatility to the markets. I think last time he got in there and he was saying that the U.S. dollar index needs to get stronger, and like magic, the U.S. dollar listened and it's been getting stronger, so quite interesting. He definitely adds a little bit of a X factor to the news elements here. So we're going to be watching this. If I see too much volatility, okay, so let me just back up one step here. Price is trading up nicely. I want to see everybody take some profits and move their stop to break even, or even I could tolerate a little bit. But if price gets up to here, which is 30 pips, 128.50, sorry, 128.75, I want you all to take some partial profits off and move your stop to break even. And I'm hoping this is going to happen before Trump and all those ISM numbers. You know, this is a 15-minute candle, so I'd hope the next 15-minute candle post breaks this high, and then 45 minutes later we're kind of trading up into this range here. If that's the case, I'm going to take some profits and bank some money, put that money in our pocket, because and move the stop to break even. I'd even maybe move the stop just under this low here, certainly above this consolidation area, but I just don't want to see them, you know, whipsaw price and then it just, you know, drops down, takes us out, and then continues higher. So I don't want to put the stop too tight on it, because I think we are going to go higher, and I think we are going to see this 129.20 level breached today or tomorrow. So I'd like to hold out for that. But again, ISM numbers and Trump yapping, it's going to be fairly, should be fairly significant. It normally is. So I'm hoping that it won't come down too much the opposite way and take us out. Hopefully the numbers, you know, just push the market rate up. Right? I'd love to see that. If you know price is trading around here, we get in, take our 30 pips partial profits, move stop up, and then the ISM numbers come out. Hopefully it would just vault this thing higher. That would be great to see. So we will watch for that to happen on the CAD. And I think that was it for news for the day. Yeah, it's all low impact news for the rest of the day. So New Zealand dollar, yen, and Aussie the end of the day. So nothing too terribly exciting here, I don't see. And then going into Friday, we've got a bunch of euro news, so we could see some movement on the euro. And then the pound. There's some pretty big events on the pound that are happening, so I wouldn't elect to have a trade on until after these news events on the pound. So we'd be looking at the pound dollar. If you want to get a trade off today, let's go look at that today here now. So let's jump over to that market. Pound dollar, and I'm going to switch back to my other chart on the pound dollar. So I've got some levels marked out here. This is the daily on the pound. I think I see these old highs over here that I've got marked out. I've got the, and I can actually bring this down just a wee bit. 136, that was at 136.20, I think it had. I know it's not a bad level. About there. So the old highs over here and the old highs over here in these consolidation areas, I believe we are going to next. And I've actually been calling this for quite a while. You see how price made these two equal highs here rejected. I was actually hoping in this failure swing down here, this retracement, that price was going to come down and tag these levels, but they decided to do a short-term run up, and that was at the same time that we made this, took out the liquidity here in this run lower on the US dollar and then push higher. That's where we saw that same failure swing here to get down into these lows. So I don't like how the dollar is just sitting there right now. I'd like to see a little more action on it. I don't really want to see this low here. If they do push the dollar down, I wouldn't really be interested to see them go much lower than this here. I think they've already come down to this region down here into this consolidation area and then expanded off. So I'm hoping this is kind of the low that they put in here and then they start to push it higher. I don't want to see this be the high today. I'd really like to see them come down a little bit lower. And we'll just jump onto an hourly. Yeah, you can see it shouldn't, I'm hoping it shouldn't come down much more than this. You can see this consolidation area here. They've been wicking into it. 1, 2, 3. Just wicked into it another time here. I've permitted to go a little bit lower. Basically right about where this red line is here. I'd want to see if they do come down to this. I'd want to see price rejection. So keep an eye on that because this is going to obviously drive that US CAD trade that we're looking at. So if price comes down too deep into here, I don't like that. And this could be the high of the day. So we're going to watch on that one as well too. I'll come back to that one, but it could just be coming down a little bit so we can get a nice little entry on some of these pairs that we're looking at, one of them being pound dollar. So we'll zoom in here a little bit. We've got some data buyers put a nice little wick on this candle here. We could see some higher retracement. So again, US dollar, if it drops a little bit lower, we could see this run a little bit higher. I don't think we're going to come up to this 138.55 level in here, which is these old lows back in here, which would be nice to see, but I think we'll probably just get price to tag off of this old low. I'm going to borrow this guy here. We may just get this today, and price tags off of that, and these old lows here, and that would come in the way of 138 even. That's a nice level. If price comes up to that 138 even level, I would be very tempted to take a short off of that level there. This is just kind of a big figure psychologically. 130 level. The algorithms typically like these numbers here, and they like to react off of them, so that could be a draw on price. It could suck it up a little bit and then dump it, and then I'd be looking for price to come down to one of these three lines. So I have the blue line on here for a reason, and we'll see if I can get it to show up on this hourly. It's more of a 4-hour. So it's just that 4-hour, this blue line, it's just coming off of, I had to put in here just because there could be a bit of a bounce at this area at the 13700 level. It's about 100 pips away. If price continues to run up to the 138 level, that's a nice trade. I mean, if you can get out, if you can get in, if price comes up here and you get short up here, and if price does run down, I'd be looking to take my profits at the 137 level here today. So I don't think we're going to see a push down to 136.50. That'd be a big day. I mean, it's not unheard of the pound dollar to reach for that, 150, even 200 pips in a day. It's starting to really see some big ranges, which is nice. But I don't necessarily think I'd see that. But that may be coming into Friday where we could see that. But I would expect a bit of a bounce at that level. So one of these two levels here, even this level here, okay, that's where I'm watching for a bounce. So I know it's a little bit, it's not as specific as I'd like it to be. This one's fairly specific, and these two are specific in that terms, but I don't know. I can't be any more specific as to, I don't know where price is going to bounce, but I believe it's going to bounce at one of these three levels, so I'd be watching all of them. And I mean, what you could do as well too is if price comes up into here, and we could, it may not even want to come up that high. I mean, you look at these, this old low in here, it pretty much just about bounced. What's the low on there? 137.73, and the high came in here at 137.73, so we may actually not get a push higher. That could be it in terms of retracement for the New York session. So I don't know that. 1 second, I'm just gonna get rid of a window here. Okay, so I don't know that price is going to see any further upside on the day, and this could be it. And I don't want to get trade happy either. So we've got a nice trade on the CAD. Flip over to my other chart here. Price is pushing up nicely now in that direction, so we should be favorable for us here. So I'd like to see that. This guy here, let me just jump down to a 15-minute and have a look at this. See how price took out the old highs here, and now it just came up, closed, and now we're starting to reject. If price breaks this level here, see these levels in here, that's what's gonna confirm it for me. Not necessarily these highs here, but more so the bodies of these candles. If that breaks convincingly to the downside, I believe we would see continued downside. Now, if price ever did one, I don't think we're going to see this low up here. I have this marked on the chart. I know I'm bouncing around here a little bit. I kind of like this trade idea on the pound dollar, only because the pound had some manufacturing PMI news a couple hours ago, about 3 hours ago, and I think if they wanted to jam this thing higher, they would have done it on that news release. Now they could just be waiting for the US dollar news to come out before they do that, and maybe that is the ultimate goal for the day, to ram it higher and to jam the US dollar lower. That would happen. If US dollar goes lower, this goes higher, so maybe that's what they're waiting for. And again, I don't want to get trade happy and issue 50 trades or anything like that. I kind of like to just manage one trade on the day and have a good winner on the day and not jump into 50 different trades, obviously. So use this one at your own discretion. And I can put it in. I've got a demo account. This is what this is over here. And you can see here, this is demo account. So if this doesn't come out, this isn't going to cost me any money or anything like that. I don't care all that much. So I could put in a pending order on the pound dollar, but I want to see price develop a little bit further before I decide to do that. So I'm just going to watch it a little bit. And I want to discuss the one level right here, 38.55, 38.56, these old lows. What I'd like to see price do is reject here, push through this blue candle, and then get down to these old highs that I've got over here, okay, and even the highs into here. So that's why I wanted to drop it down just a little bit lower. I like the 136.20 level, but I'd like to drop it down even just a little bit lower. And you see how the bodies of these candles line up nicely? The highs of the bodies of these candles come into the highs of the bodies of these candles in here, and then the wicks in here. That's sort of a nice level, and that comes in at 138, and you can even just put it at 138.90 as an even level. Well, you know what, 95 is good too. Right in there, that's ultimately where I'd like to see price come down to. There's a lot of confluence at that level right there. Yes, there's an old high here, and we could see a bounce, and price may not come down to that level. You got to watch it. That's kind of the one thing, guessing game about trading is you never know where you're going to get the bounce at. So when you trade, let's say a breakout retest trade, you don't know if it's going to retest at the candle high, body high, or the wick high, unfortunately. So you kind of just got to put in the two levels and watch price as it comes down. But overall, long term, I'm bullish on the pound dollar, and I think we're going to see price come back up and take out the old Brexit high up into here. We've done a good job of trading through all of this price action in here, and it's almost taken out, I shouldn't say that it hasn't taken it out. This was the Brexit high right here, but it's done a good job at cleaning up all of this liquidity in here, all of these voids in here, and I think this retrace shorter is just going to be short term. I'd like to see a bounce off of this level here, or the highs here, like I was saying, and then run higher. So that's kind of what I'm looking for long term. Now, if the US dollar, the almighty dollar, continues to push higher and we get way up and maybe price pushes through here, then it's going to make it very, very difficult for this to do that. This is probably going to end up seeing lower lows in here, and we could potentially come back down and maybe start scooping up some of the liquidity that's resting underneath these lows under here, because you can look at this bull move. Right, price hasn't come down once to I'll just borrow this here, like, so price posted a low here, okay, and then ever since then we've been putting in higher lows right across the board, and they have not done a liquidity run once on any of these lows here. You can see this. Every time they've retraced back, they've never taken out a short-term low. There's equal high. There's equal lows over here. Right? They didn't come down for any of those, and then they put yet another one right here. And so, if we do see a retrace, what would be great, to be honest with you, if we see continued bullishness on the US dollar, I'd love to see them start coming down and taking out some of the liquidity under here. I don't want to see them go too deep, of course. I don't want to see them get back to this consolidation range in here or anything like that. This would, if they come back down into this area here, then this would eliminate that idea. But I think scooping up some of the liquidity under here would not be a bad thing, and then snap it back up and resume higher, and then start to take out these highs for the rest of the year. Again, this is a very long way away. This ain't going to happen, in the next 2 days or anything. I mean, we're 1,000 pips away from that, 1,200, 1,300 pips away from that at current level. So that's going to take a very long time to develop. But that's ultimately where I'd like to see price headed in the long term. So, 6 to 8 months from now, end of the year type of thing. That would be great if that target got hit. So what I'd like to see, though, anyway, in the interim, price jams down into here, see a rejection, comes back up into this level here, and then rejects and kind of cleans up this liquidity in here. There's a bit of a void in here, and then runs lower. That's when I'd like to see them start to take out these lows in here. That would be great. These weren't necessarily perfect equal lows, but I'll just move the price up to here a little bit, and those are equal lows, but they didn't take the liquidity under here is what I'm trying to drive at. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So I know there's a ton of bloody shrapnel on this chart, and it looks pretty nasty right now, but if you dial in, there's a little bit of method to my madness. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, but I don't think we're going to see a failure swing up into here. If we see the US dollar reject at its level, then maybe I'd be looking for that, and we could take a short-term trade short in here. But I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're probably just going to see price roll over from here and then and head lower. So if that makes any sense at all to you guys, hopefully it does on the pound dollar. I guess ultimately I'm kind of looking at this saying, is there an opportunity to get in for a short right now? It's a nice rejection. Like that's what you want to see when price takes out short-term highs like this. This is a nice rejection level in here. So I'm very, very tempted. But I'll tell you what, I want to see what this candle does. If this candle pushes below these lows in here, I'd be interested in waiting for the next candle to open, do its thing, create its high, and then go short from there. But we could see a bit of a bounce. So we're just getting to these old highs in here right now, so we could see a bit of a bounce and a retrace higher. And if there's any willingness to go above these old highs right here, trade idea off, because I think they're going to want to take it higher on the day. So here's our day, and you can see too, like there's really nothing going on right now on this pair. It's just kind of going sideways. I mean, it's been in a range. I mean, so here's where the day started right in here. It created a low at of 33 pips, right, and then a high of 14 pips above the market. So we're literally trading in a 45 pip consolidated tight range right now, which, you know, it's understandable. So it could be a day where all they're doing is hunting stops. So it could just be a sideways day for the rest of the day on this pair too. So you got to watch for that. And honestly, it's kind of looking like that right now. I could be wrong again. You know, we could see price reject right here and then go lower, take out these lows and never look back and go straight down to that blue line that I was saying. But you can look at the yesterday and it kind of gives you a bit of a clue. I'll actually just zoom out a little bit. So Thursday's trading here, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Monday posted the high up here, and price hasn't looked back since. It's just been straight down from there. Okay, and this is a reversal day basically. So price didn't close too far off of where it opened. It actually almost opened almost the exact same price that it closed at. So if you look on the daily, this would be just about a doji. I didn't look at that right now. Monday's trading right here, so you can see that just about a doji, right? Not that I trade those types of candlestick patterns or anything like that, but what I'm driving at is it created its high, rejected, and price has just been steadily trading lower since. And then yesterday put out a beautiful range of 160 pips. So typically on a large range day like this on Wednesday, the next day typically tends to consolidate and just kind of chop sideways. You know, everyone thinking, oh, we're going to have another continued big bearish day on the day. They don't always do that, and you typically get some sideways price action for about a day, and then they release price on the next day into Friday, and we could, you know, close much lower on Friday. We could finally hit that low on Friday. So that's kind of why I'm, like I say, there's a lot of reasons to talk myself out of taking a short on this, and I don't want to see anybody jump into this just because I'm looking at lower prices. We could want to trade a little bit higher, or like I say, just search stops today. So when I say search stops, if you look at it, for any of those traders out there, or new traders, and don't understand what I'm saying, look at what they did yesterday. They're jamming price down. Okay, they drove price straight down, and when everybody's right, so let's say you got short up here. Okay, so if you got short up here, let's say you went short right here, just for argument's sake. And by the way, guys, I was actually very, very close to issuing a trade signal yesterday. It probably wouldn't have hit my level, to be honest with you. I think I'm just going to double check on price. I don't think it would have. No, I had actually I had a short in here on my chart. I had everything set up, a short right here, had my stop up here above this old high, and then my target was actually down here. I didn't issue it just because we were doing a euro trade yesterday that panned out very, very nicely. One of the other analysts that work with us, he put out a short on the euro dollar. So I don't like to do two trades at once on the euro and the pound dollar at the same time, just for other reasons that I'm not going to get into here. But so I elected to sit on the sidelines on this and just see how price. We wouldn't have got a fill anyway. So I mean, bottom line, it doesn't matter. We wouldn't have got a fill, but price reacted beautifully off that level. So let's just say, for argument's sake, we got short right here. Well, where's everybody put their stops? They put them right here. Okay. All the stops go right here. Price trades off beautifully down here, and then price starts to retrace. What do people do? They suck their stops up and you know, put it, let's say, for right here. And they say, well, I don't want to see price go higher than, you know, whatever, this candle here. Okay, and now all the stops are sitting right here. And then they run up, retrace a little bit, and then drop and keep going lower. So what do people do? They suck their stops up. Okay, now they're right here. Price runs up here. And I say, okay, I don't want to see price break this candle, jump in my stop right here so I can collect all of this move in here and be profitable. And then they run the market lower. Perfect. So they suck their stops in down here. Price retraces a bit, and the same idea going, and they just drop their stops lower and lower, lower, all the way down. And then the price closes on the day. Now, most people, close their trades at the end of the trading day right here. Some people, however, elect to keep those stops. So they run price down, and then they slowly start to run price up. Now, you look at this and you say, if you're a new trader coming in here and you see all of this and you say, oh, okay, there's a nice expansion. I think we're going to see a retracement today. So people start going long, and let's say they get long in down here, and then they put their stops right under the market right here. They slowly trade up, and they don't quite take the stops above here. So everybody who's short is safe in here. And then they drop the stops down, or sorry, they drop the price down and take out all the buy stops down, or sorry, all the sell stops down here. So everybody who thought this was a motive wave up, and we're going to swing up and get into here, they've now taken them out of the market. So everybody long is on the other opposite side. They take their stops out and put them on the other, out of the trade. Then they come up in here and they bang up to here, and all the people who are going short are saying, "Oh, good, we're safe." Right, and drop price down, take everybody long, and now they come back up and they jam these stops, and now everybody's out of the market who went short. Well, now everyone who's sitting here thinking, okay, great, they've now taken the sell stops and the buy stops on either side of the market. Now they're going to finally drop this thing lower. Let's everybody get short, and then all of a sudden they come up here and they kind of just sit there and trade in the range, and then they wick it up quick, take out all the stops up here. Anyone who's thinking, oh, okay, this is it, this was the low in the day, I'm going to get long and put my stop under here, and then they wick it down and take the stops there. That's what one of these days is like. It's just kind of like the price hunts for your stop, and it gets very, very wicky and very, very ugly. And I'll see if I can find another day like that. Like this here. This is kind of a day just like that, where you see price opened up here, and price almost opened up exactly where it finishes. And so if today, let me jump back, if today is like that, price will finish somewhere in this area right here. We won't go down anywhere. I know I'm sort of beating this up to death here a little bit, but there is a purpose for why I want to discuss it. But you can see on this one here, price literally closed the same, almost the same price as what it opened. So that's one of those days. Everyone who was short was come down and they think they're right. They don't take their profit, and they rip price back up, takes their stops out, and then they just sit there and just chop this thing violently for the next little while. You know, that's not necessarily that day. See if we can find any other ones here. You kind of get what I'm driving at here. It's not all the time that it happens, but when it does happen, it happens after a very, very large range day. Yeah, this was kind of like that as well too. See, it basically closed where it opened. I took all the stops below the market, took all the stops above the market, and then just finished even on the day. So I can't find anything recent here, but you know, there's one of those days here. I don't know where that just went, but anyway, so you kind of get what I'm driving at here. That's kind of what is I'm suspecting here today. Go back to the dollars. Dollar's pushing up nicely, and what's kind of confirming that is the dollar is pushing up nicely here. We should see the corresponding equal nice drop in here, but you can see prices is actually looks like it's getting stronger. So we'll watch that one transpire. I don't necessarily want to go short on this one yet. I'm kind of talking myself out of the trade, to be honest with you, because we do have this CAD trade on, and I'd kind of like to just focus my time on that. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. The euro dollar, we could see some expansion down here on this one today, and we have a target in here at 120.90. So some nice range in here that is still available on the day. 85 pips on the day. I don't want to take a trade on this one today. It's not really the pair that I look at too much. And you can see here too, price just kind of chopping sideways, popped up a bit. Would have been nice if we could get a short here, and then a nice drop came in here, bit of a retracement. So we'll see what happens on there, but I'm not going to do too much on the euro. UJ, I don't want to go through the UJ right now. It's kind of just sitting in limbo. Price of the dollar is pushing up, so this should be pushing up higher as well too, and we should actually be trading back into here. It's not doing that. It should have taken off the highs here in correlation with the US dollar index. It hasn't done that. It's just been going straight sideways. So nothing on UJ right now until it breaks this area in here convincingly. What's our dollar trade doing? Dollar or CAD dollar now has broken that, and so I want to watch what it's going to do in here. Again, US dollar is pushing up higher nicely now, so I want to see continuation. I want to see them break these highs in here. I do not want to see them come much lower than where we're at right now. If it does, I'm going to cancel the trade, and I'm going to get out of it, because we could see lower prices in here. So I'm not going to cancel the trade right away or anything. Like, we are starting to trade back into this consolidation range here. But if it, like I say, if it starts and if it breaks this low in here, then I'm not going to be interested in it, and we could see lower prices. But we've been on a nice bullish move upward, and I want to see that continue. I don't think they need to come too much lower than this. I think if they wanted to drop it lower, they would have done it in here. So we could just be retesting this consolidation area, and then hopefully we're going to see price rip higher. Now the other thing too, all these numbers coming out in the next short term, they could just be driving it lower just to grab the liquidity, and then they're going to rip it higher based on those numbers. There is that option too, so we got to kind of watch for that as well. So that's why I say I don't want to jam my stop right underneath this low here. I'd kind of like to keep it down and away a little bit, but we're not talking anything too serious. You know, 45 and 25, and that's only 20 pips, so it's, you know, as long as you're not over leveraging your account on your demo account, it shouldn't be a big stretch if this does stop us out. But just watch for that. Again, I am looking for higher prices on this. I want to see this get up into these highs here. Hopefully that's going to happen today, maybe even into tomorrow. So we'll watch that happen. Where else are we here? The S&P, starting to see lower prices on the S&P. If it's going to move higher, it should do it in here. We're back at the body of this old low candle down here. So if price is going to want to go higher, it should go higher from here. One of my other analysts actually discusses this pair in detail and does a lot of live trading on this. He did live trade on it yesterday and last Friday, and I think those panned out nicely. So I'm not going to do anything on the S&P. He'll be in tomorrow morning to do another live trading session, New York time, same time as this, to do a live trading session on the S&P, gold, and UJ, US yen. So you can watch for that. You can join at the same time tomorrow, and he will be doing that one. So I'm not going to discuss anything on that. Gold, same thing. He'll be discussing that one. Aussie dollar is seeing a real nice push down. Had a failure up in this consolidation up in here. You can see that just a nice wick up failure swing, and about 170 pips lower since. I would expect price, if we are going to see the same reaction on the US dollar, I think this old high here is kind of going to be the first target, and potentially if it has some strength, we could then even see this consolidation down in here. There's a bit of an area right in here that's kind of got my interest. So if price wants to break this guy here, and I would even say more so the high of the candle, kind of right in the middle where you see where all these wicks are right here, and the bodies end and the wicks kind of start right in here. If price breaks into there, then I'd be looking for them to come down in this consolidation area. And there's a bit of a some inconsistent price action in here that I'd want to see them come back down into. It is a balanced trading range in there, which is nice, but I think that if it does break this low here, it could go lower. So you can watch that on the Aussie dollar, and that's again only if we see continuation on the US dollar running higher. Really love to see this candle close higher on the day, and then another candle come up into here, so I want to watch for that. US pound, yen, crude oil doing nothing, just going sideways right now. Crude oil had a big two very big down days, so it could bounce from here, it could bounce higher, but I'm not going to be interested in trading anything on the crude right now. And the main reason is because I am bullish on crude oil, and I don't like to counter trade the overall trend. Sorry. That's the S&P 500. Don't know why I have two charts there. Close that. Here we go. Oil. So oil has had two big down days, like I just mentioned. Actually, three big down days, and today it's posting new fresh lows here. So again, I don't like to counter trend trade on some of these. I am bullish. We are just going through a little bit of a retrace right now on this, and I think that they may be looking to come down into this old low right here. They probably want to come down if price breaks in here and wants to continue lower. So you see the low here. I think they're going to hit into that, and if they get into this little consolidation area here and they push lower than the middle of this, then its price will go lower. So if price comes in basically and breaks the 60-20 level, then I think we're going to see prices go a little bit lower. Come on, not going to give it to me. So if price breaks this, then we could be going a little bit lower. And I'd be looking for the lows here to get swept, and then I'd look for them to come down in here. So we could be seeing a bit of a short-term reversal on crude oil. Overall, though, I am bullish, and I've said my reasons why many times. We're just starting to get up into this nice fluid price action in here, and I think it's going to continue higher. So price just sort of did a bounce retest. So hopefully it's not a failure swing, and we're going to see lower. I want to see much higher prices. I am bullish crude oil, so we will watch for that. But nothing on crude oil today that I want to see. We had a nice down day here. Honestly, if I'm looking at this, if price has any willingness to get above this high in here, I'd be looking at a failure. See these old lows here? I'd be looking for that to act as support. I'm sorry, resistance on the upside, and for price to bounce from there lower. If it does that, it may not. It could just literally be coming down. It could fail right at this candle low here. It could fail there and continue lower. So I'm not going to look at any trading on the crude oil market today. Coffee is, I'm kind of interested in coffee. It's been going sideways, right? Straight sideways here. And seasonally, however, it is bullish. I talked about this in the past a little bit. I've got some notes here I'm just going to refer to. If you bear with me for 1 second. it does go bearish, but there's a very short sideways to bullish trend that's happening. So one of two things is going to happen on this market. It's going to get crushed and it's going to go much lower, or it has, this is a failure swing here, and it doesn't want to see prices go any higher. And it's kind of forming a bit of a wedge, you can see here. Let's borrow this line here. It's kind of forming a bit of a wedge pattern, and you can go off of this low here. So it's going to break out either to the lower, typically to the lower it goes, but I like that it created a low here and then a low here, and it has not want to go back down to that low. And you can see here they've really done a good job of running price down. So it's just kind of interesting to me where this is at and how it's breaking out nicely. You can see here another failure swing. It didn't get lower. So if price doesn't break this low rate here, I might be looking at some short-term longs on this, and I'd be looking for very, very short-term targets, but this might be a nice short-term target. So we'll watch that to transpire. I just want to talk real quick about Bitcoin. Let me check out this CAD trade again. Yeah, I don't like how that failed. See how price failed there? I do not like that. I'm just going to set this chart up here for now. I'll keep this one on another screen and watch that. But I don't like how that failed right on there. I want to see price start to push higher on it from there. So we'll watch that. Bitcoin, I know there's some Bitcoin traders in here, and that's the only reason you're in here. So let's talk about Bitcoin real quick. Here, I'm just going to start with a fresh chart here. Okay. Here are these D dividers. Okay. Bitcoin. So, price has obviously pushed down here. We're in a nice bearish trend on Bitcoin. I wouldn't be bullish until price wanted to convincingly break this old low up here. If price breaks that guy right there, then we'd be looking at bullish price action to continue. However, we've got a couple equal highs in here. Price failed to penetrate these highs here, right here. It dropped down for 1, 2, 3 consecutive days, and then now we've been rallying higher. So this could be, and I wanted to actually see price get down to here. See this old swing low down here? I wanted to see price trade into that level there. We didn't get it though, unfortunately. Price had rejected and didn't even get down to that, and it's now been pushing higher. So, and they've been sideways for the past 3 days. So going into today and Friday, it could just see this for the rest of the week, and then next week it'll break out either on the lower or the upside. But you can see it's sort of created some resistance here. Price banged up in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, 10 times in here. Didn't want to go higher, failed, and then now it's starting to slowly come up. It kind of is leading me to believe that they are going to push it higher and take the stops above here. So there's right now a lot of buy stops. So there are people who are shorting Bitcoin. I know it sounds crazy, right? Because it's just been in such a bull market. There's a lot of people shorting Bitcoin, and all of their stops are residing right above these highs here. So it would be perfect opportunity for them to come up, tag those stops, inject a ton of liquidity, put everybody out of the trade, and then dump it lower. Because I want to see these lows here get violated, and hang on here, yeah, straight line. I'd like to see them come down for these. I don't think they've quite come down low enough in my mind. They had a nice rejection off of these levels in here, but I think it was just kind of a false rally higher. I think they're going to drop this thing lower. And if you look at a fib from high to low as well too. Oops. trying to get these on the right levels here. It hasn't, so this is 100% of the swing. It still hasn't really come back, and then that's why I say if price starts to get back up into this area in here, then I think we're going to see higher prices. But out of this hold down move here, it's only retraced a small percentage. Okay, so it's not like it's you know, I'm just not convinced that this is the low. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. I think we could see a failure in here, but they may want to come up and jam these stops, so be prepared. You know, don't go short on it or anything like that. And if they come up here and they close above this high, then I think they're going to want to continue it higher, and then I'll be looking for this range right in here, as I mentioned. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. I think I'd like to see them take it lower. This is interesting that they didn't come down to here, that they just kind of stopped prematurely and then ran it higher. And then now they're just trading straight sideways. So I'm going to be watching up here and below here. So this low getting taken out would be the next on the downside. And then I want to see what they do right here, if they want to bounce at this level or continue through it. If they continue through this level, I think that's kind of going to be the last card that needs to, or the last domino that needs to fall. I think they're going to want to take it lower from there. So that's kind of Bitcoin. There's really no trade right now on it. I can't tell you short or long because it's just sitting right in the middle of this range. Like if you look at this range here from low to high, I mean, we're literally trading, whoops, no, whatever, the body to body. We're pretty much just trading right in the middle. See, right at the 50% level of this little price fractal right in here. So price could break out either way, up or down. So I can't give you any more definitive answer on that. I know there's a lot of Bitcoin traders in here, and I apologize, I can't give you more accurate numbers on that. But just give me 1 second, guys. Just gotta grab a drink. Sorry about that, guys. Fighting a bit of a dry throat. Bitcoin is, like I say, just kind of right in the middle of that range. So if price dropping down on an hourly, if price doesn't break this high in here, see the bodies where the body's open here. If price doesn't want to break through there, if it comes up and just wicks into here, and I'm going to get rid of that line. I don't like that. I'm just going to insert a price. If price has no willingness to break these lows, so low comes in at 10, actually I'll do the open, which is 1087, call it 1080, 10, what did I say, 10878, okay, so 10880. If price comes up and trades up into here and starts to wick and reject, I think we're going to see lower prices. It could be a failure swing, but keep in mind they may want to push it higher. This was that high, I think. No, hang on, Jesus, sorry guys. Yeah, so if price gets higher than up into here, this 1080 level, then they're going to probably want to run it a bit higher and take out these buy stops up here. And then who knows where they're going from there. They're going to continue it higher or they're going to drop it lower. So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm not going to spend too much more time on Bitcoin talking about that. But that's kind of some of the levels that I'm looking at right now. It's just sort of really trading right in the middle of that fractal and right in the middle of that range. There's a lot of areas lower in the market that you can see here that have my interest. But there's definitely some areas higher where they would be very interested in taking it that I've identified. So trade this one at your own peril. I'm not going to issue a signal on this one, unfortunately, because I don't really like the level that it's at right now. So that's about it for Bitcoin. All these other commodities, I really wanted to see, just real quick on cotton, there's really nothing else on the commodity side that I want to talk about, but this cotton trade here broke out of this area nicely, and I was really hoping for a retrace after it broke out here. It was going to come back down one more time and test this consolidation area and explode, and just expanded up higher from there. It didn't even get me an entry, unfortunately. So I'd like to see a deeper retrace. If it can get a long in, I'd be interested in seeing price come down here and see the reaction that ensues at the 0.7950 level in here. So I'm going to keep my eye on that one and see if that one wants to come to fruition or not. So we'll watch for that. There's nothing on sugar. It broke an old low and then now it's repping higher, so I don't see any trade there. Orange juice. Look at that. Orange juice just came into a level that I had kind of identified about a week ago. Not quite there yet, but it's getting there. So price had exploded out of here. I'll just go on to a daily. You can see here how we've been pushing down nicely. It came out of a low, and I don't have it on this. Oh yeah, I do. It had a failure swing, so price pushed down, created a low, ran up, came down, failure swing here, it failed to get underneath this low here, consolidated, ripped up, and it's tested this consolidation area. When price was trading right here last week, I was looking at it and I said, I'd like to see price trade a little bit more into this candle here. It didn't get it and literally just wicked down and rejected. So now we're sort of back into these lows here. So I want to see what happens. If price breaks through here, it's going to want to come down into this level here, and we'll be looking to get into some longs. But price could fail right where it's at right here. It could fail to go any lower and start to go higher. So I'm going to be watching that. So there could be a potential trade on orange juice going in today and maybe even into next week. I'm not super in a rush on this one because I think it'll take its time to do what it wants to do. But we did have a failure swing up here, so you got to watch that as well too. Price may have just been pushing out artificially just to grab some liquidity, bang up into here, and they may want to take it lower and finally get this one out here. So you got to watch that. But I'm going to be watching price very, very closely today on this, so I'll update you on that if there's any OJ traders out there. And that's about it for commodities that I wanted to discuss. You can see here, back to the US dollar, we're pushing up nicely here, so I want to see this continue to push higher, and just a nice price action movement up in here. Watching these highs here for a while, thinking that it was going to run up on this high, consolidated, dropped lower, and then finally pushed higher, which is nice to see. Euro just kind of chopping sideways right now. Pound dollar had some rejection at those higher levels that I was talking about. Kind of ugly price trading right in there. Bunch of railroad candles up and down and straight sideways. They kind of look like bricks. How is our CAD trade doing? CAD trade's finally pushed up a little bit higher than our entry level. Just bring this over here. So I'm hoping that this was the low here. If price is going to go higher, and you see how it keyed right off of these old highs here. Oops, come on you. So this could be a good trade. Unfortunately, we're kind of starting to creep up into this news now, which I didn't want to get into. I wanted price to start running before we got into this news, and now we're what time are we here? 9:45. So this news is coming out in about 15 minutes, just a little under 15 minutes from now. 1 second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. In addition to living in probably the coldest place in the world, I also live in one of the driest as well too, so get very dry throats around here. Anyway, that news, the ISM manufacturing numbers are the ones that I'm kind of watching a little bit more, so I'm going to watch this one here, and then we've got about another hour before Trump speaks. so I'm not going to worry about that too much. But I want to see what price is doing. I really want to see it start to expand higher here, and then I'd be a little more comfortable. I'm going to leave the stop where it is. Again, it's only 20 pips, so it's not like it's going to break the bank. Hopefully you didn't you know, over leverage yourself or anything like that on your demo account. This is a demo account as well too, just so you know, for the record. I'm not trading any live funds here or anything like that. And if price gets up to, remember, 128.75, and I'll just write this in here, make sure you please take some profits, take partial profits, pay yourself right here if price gets up there, because you never know what it's going to do, and then move your stop to break even, please, and ride out the rest of the trade. And I am looking for price to go up to 129.20. I'm hoping it's going to do it today. It may not. Looking at tomorrow's news events, there are, I thought I saw CAD in here. Yeah, there's a GDP event in the US CAD tomorrow into Friday. I'd prefer not to hold it through that long, but we'll see how price reacts here today off of this ISM news here coming out in about 10 minutes. So anyway, that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap up. I got to get on with my day here. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, please ask them now. Marcus, you got a question here. I believe that they may take the stops below that double bottom around where your stops is at before heading higher into the news. Yeah, you could be right. That I know, and they do have that. So the low came in here at 128.24, and then the low came in here at 128.25. You could be right. However, they did tag it off of this consolidation block in here, which is kind of why I think that, and then ran it higher, which is kind of why I think that maybe they've used that range up, and I'm hoping they don't want to come down in here. I mean, for argument's sake, it'd be very easy to, like I say, you could be right. And it may be prudent to just drop the stop a little bit, to even to you know, a 30 pip stop, and it doesn't hurt to do that. Obviously, I mean, this is I mean, our standard stops are 30 pips, so you can feel free to do that if you'd like to. Like I say, you could move it from 128.25, then even down to 128.20 or 128.15, and that would be a 30 pip stop, which is a standard stop that we use. I just did a 20 pip stop just because I kind of think they've come down already on it, and I don't know. I could be wrong, right? I mean, I'm never right all the time on this, and actually, you know, where they're keeping price right now as well too is something that is a little suspect as well. I would have hoped to see some expansion, at least be trading higher than this high right here. So you could be right. They could want to come down and do that. Definitely a good spot, but I'll leave that one up to you guys to do if you want to bring it down. I mean, I guess for argument's sake, I could even maybe just drop it 5 pips. I don't want to bring it down too low, just because I don't want to get into a situation of if it goes further than that. So maybe a 5 pip stop. So yeah, I mean, and to be honest with you, if they come down further than this, yeah, we could see lower prices. They may want to come back down and retest these old highs in here. So no, that's definitely a very good call, Marcus. You could be right on that one. So we'll watch and see how that transpires. You can see here it was kind of a failure swing, and that's, like I say, that's kind of what led me to believe they may not want to come back down lower than that. Again, the failure swing in here to get down, but they could be priming that up right now with what they're doing. So, and that would be, like I say, from current levels, that would be a run on liquidity here. It'd be about 25 pips, so it's possible. But anyway, that's about it. I didn't really see anything else that caught my eye. Like I say, the euro's kind of chopping sideways. The pound dollar's not really doing anything too exciting today. The CAD was kind of the only thing that got my eye, and just because the target's up here, you know, huge area up here of liquidity, and with the US dollar doing what it's doing, you know, pushing up nicely here, I think that I think we're going to see a run on those stops on the US CAD. So that's why I elected to do that today. US CAD actually isn't even my pair. It's actually one of my other analysts, he might have been tied up today. I'm not too sure. But normally he would have put out a trade on this one, but I just figured I'm switching live sessions for the week. So going into next week, just so you know, I'll post the schedule, but our live sessions, I think I'm going to change it up. So Tuesday I usually do London Open at 12 a.m. New York time. I think I'm going to switch the Tuesday session to a New York session. So same time today I would start, and then Thursday that week, and then we do a Wednesday London Open session. That's not going to change. And then a Wednesday New York session we've just added. We'll be trading S&P, Gold, and UJ on Wednesday morning, so same time as we did today. And then Thursday, I think I'm going to keep the Thursday as a London Open session, just because I like to get prices in before the market opens in New York on Thursdays. You see kind of a lot of price trading nicely on Thursday. So that's just kind of my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. I think, Marcus, actually, I appreciate that you gave me some feedback earlier today, just saying that New York sessions kind of work a little bit better for your schedule. That's awesome. I want to try to accommodate the people's schedules as best as I can here. So we've got two options, London Open, New York Open. I want to do a couple of each during the week, and hopefully we can kind of tag in on everybody's schedules and you can get a little bit of live time in front of the charts. So thanks for coming in, guys. I appreciate that. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day on Thursday. My voice is starting to give out here a little bit, so I am going to run, get my day going. Good luck, good trading, and we will catch you guys into later in the day. If you are part of our Telegram Signals channel, you will get updates on the CAD throughout the rest of the day, and any other signals as we see them. We'll probably have a few signals into tomorrow as well too, which our other analysts will be discussing there tomorrow, so we'll watch for those. And if you guys haven't signed, if anybody on here hasn't signed up yet, please go to f45trading.com, jump in, throw your email and your information in, and you can trade with us live and get signals and everything like that direct to your phone by going to F45 Trading for 2 weeks. You get all that for free, and then it's a low $75 a month fee after that. So lots of great information there, guys. I'm going to wrap up this session. Thank you very much for joining us. Have yourself a great day.